Okay, well, any plant walk in our own backyard would be remiss if we didn't talk about Algerita. So this is Berberis trifoliata. This is an amazing herb. This is, of course, part of the Berberis family. It's a Berberis species. Well, some might even argue a Mahonia species, but it is, or I'm sorry, genus. But the trifoliata is the species that we find all over the hill country, and very similar. This and a few other similar looking and very much medicinally analogous species of this we'll find throughout the Southwest. Now, starting with this plant, I guess let's start from the leaf real quickly. The leaf itself is, this kind of spiky, leaflet structure, as you can see from the name, of course, the species name, as it would indicate. And the leaf is, again, another one of those that I've kind of happened on more serendipitously than anything. Also, about 7 or 8 years ago, had a student who just tried some. He was having a really bad hangover. He was doing a plant meditation early in the morning in one of our on-site classes, was meditating with this plant, had a really bad hangover and decided to take a leaf. The plant spoke to him and said, hey, try me. And his nausea went away within seconds, he said, as soon as he started chewing on the leaf. So I started using it and trying it. And I have used this plant as an anti-nauseal with so many people, to include some of our faculty, Dr. Kyla Helm, who has really bad motion sickness, and other people who have that around us, that family members, myself even, for nausea and motion sickness as well. I get seasick pretty easily. This is a plant, this leaf is incredible. It's better than ginger, it's better than Artemisia absinthium, it's better than a lot of the other anti-nauseals that I'm familiar with and use. And it's, as far as I have ever been able to tell and know, it is pregnancy safe. I can't say any more than anyone can 100% about any plant, but it is a very mild, the leaf is very mild. The berry itself, which they're green right now because they haven't turned, but they'll turn red, is very much an edible. So this plant is, is an edible plant, is a non-toxic or very low toxicity plant, and the berry turns red, and it's kind of like sort of like a sweet rhubarb taste to it, basically. And the leaf, I've never had anybody have any side effect or any problem with the leaf whatsoever. And I use it in conjunction with the root sometimes also when I'm working with the gut for things that are related to, gut stuff where there might be some nausea or even bad GERD, a reflux going on. The root is, of course, what everybody's familiar with most of our Berberis genus and our Mahonia species, right? These are the ones that we want to use for all kinds of stuff that are relating to the liver and being able to decongest the liver, for gut problems, high in berberine. It's that yellow alkaloid that is water soluble, much more than it's alcohol soluble. Unlike a lot of alkaloids, this is a difference in it. And this yellow alkaloid is famous for being part of what probably got rid of a huge cholera outbreak in India back in 68 or 69 when they weren't able to do anything. Over 1 million people died. It lasted for over a year. They started one neighborhood at a time using golden seal and just shutting the cholera down, and so they started studying it and finding hydrostein and berberine. Well, berberine is in this plant, a high amount of berberine, a very high amount of berberine, and it is just a superlative gut herb. Now, berberine doesn't make it into the bloodstream very easily, so it's unfortunately gut and, say, wound infection, and if you can spray it maybe on the throat, on the back of the throat, these are the places you're going to be able to use it as an antibacterial, as a biofilm buster. Probably the leaf of this has MHC or 5'-methoxyhydrocarbon the same way that Mahonia species do, and so I use it that way as well. Which is an inhibitor, an efflux inhibitor for bacterial infections that makes the root more effective and more potent, up to maybe 15 times more potent. So the root and the leaf, my point is, the root and the leaf work well together, and I usually do a 25% leaf, 75% root mixture when I mix the two together. The root itself, everything from small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, small intestinal fungal overgrowth, nose washes for maybe sinus infections that aren't going away. Any place where we can get the herb to the tissue, it's going to be very useful. If we could get it into the bloodstream, across the brush border of the gut into the bloodstream, then we could use it for urinary tract infections. If we can get it into the lungs, we could use it for for pneumonia. I mean, there's so many anti-infective, wonderful things about berberine. It's a cardioprotective. There's all kinds of research about berberine and its use for things like atherosclerosis and heart, issues with heart disease, mitochondrial function, just so many different things you could talk about with berberine alone. But primarily as an herbalist, I use it in the field for things like you got bad, maybe you got giardia, or maybe you got some sort of an infection from some sort of a gastrointestinal infection that could be viral or bacterial or even protozoal. Those would be the places I would find its most heavy use.